I would like to pose is, if you acknowledge the only thing we need to perform this job. Hey, this is a new problem, I know. Um, well, this is going to be more a philosophical speech, not um, theoretical speech about mediation and this kind of things, because I'm just a student. But as a student, I can tell you a story, and my process as for the choice that I made, of studying linguistic mediation. So, my name is Pergam, and I am majoring in conference interpreting here at UNIT. And I really enjoy this kind of project because I think student projects really bring people together, and it forces people to work within a team, and as a consequence to be more open-minded, basically. You cannot work within a team and be self-centered. You have to adapt your perspective, your ideas to the ones that the other team members. And why I'm saying this? Because linguistic mediation really resonates with this kind of concept. The fact that you have to bring people together and to sort of shape yourself on someone else's ideas. But I would like to expand on this topic by telling you my story. I come from a small village in the center of Italy, and when I first started university 4 years ago, I came across people who were eager to know about my university career. So the most common question that they were likely to pose what are you studying for? And I answered saying, I'm studying linguistic mediation, but very few people have the faintest idea of what this is about. So most of the time I found myself explaining them that I was studying languages. But actually, we do not just study languages. But when I was lucky enough, though, I found people who do know what a linguistic mediator does. And they translate speeches from a language into another one, they usually state. And that is correct, but not accurate enough. But against this latter backdrop, the conversation can, of course, move on, since the interlocutor have at least a sensation of what it is about. And the question that follows usually are, what would you like to do afterwards? Why are you doing that? And the first time I've experienced this kind of interaction, I was stunned by this very question. What would I like to do actually? Why am I doing this? And I started my stream of consciousness, my really long mind trip, basically. So I really wanted to spot the core of my motivation, and I started from the simple assumption that I've chosen this career because I love languages and I love dealing with people. So I needed a proper linguistic knowledge to perform this job. But I've always noticed that well-structured sentences and words in general can have a great deal of impact on people, so that people can be educated, can be enlightened, or rather, masses can be controlled and stir up revolution. So I really evaluate the importance of words. But words cannot they have to be filled with something meaningful. They have to carry a real meaning. So that was not enough. It is not enough to just have linguistic knowledge. You have to mean something that you're saying. So what else is missing? And I've said that I love dealing with people. So I decided at the very beginning of my university career that I would have studied hard to know how to use words in the proper way to connect people to each other. And that's great. But again, how and why? Why do people need to be connected for words? And why do people need to be connected, basically? It should be something natural. But my university career allowed me to live far from the small village I was born and raised. And living in a big city basically had me realize that despite the fact that different communities, people coming from different backgrounds, with different culture, can actually coexist in the same land, they can at the same time do not share the same values and do not merge together. Actually, they can share the same places. People coming from abroad can learn the local language or the local culture, but still feel isolated and marginalized. So why? Yes. In 2017, I started to passionately follow the story of Surooz Vali, especially when a movie based on his life was released. And the movie is called Lion, and I deeply suggest to see the movie because it is astonishingly beautiful. He received 6 Oscars nomination, and it was reviewed by the Academy Awards circuit as a triumphant example of the beauty of the human spirit. And I basically binge-watched all the footage on internet about casting interviews, Q&As, intervention that the real family of Surooz had done to promote the movie. And what struck me the most was something that Surooz's mother said to a journalist when the journalist asked her, how can we encourage future filmmakers to write stories like this one that are able to give hope? And she answered, I think we are ready for encouragement globally, and we talk a lot about diversity in population and so forth, but in some way we got diversity and we haven't got harmony. This is not showed, okay? And so my answer, my why, was right before my eyes, was right there. Harmony. I think we lack harmony. We have got diversity in population. We live in a very diversified environment, but we ain't got harmony. So I decided that I was studying languages because I want to bring harmony across diversities. But I wanted to know if this was something feasible. This was something that other people thought about before. So I started to do my research on internet, and I came across an article written by Paolo Balboni, a professor at Ca' Foscari University. And he was talking about a European project called LUCIDE, L-U-C-I-D-E, which stands for European Lifelong Learning Programming. And it is a European project which derives from another project developed in the UK called LETPP, Language in Europe, Theory, Policy and Practice. What is this about? Language in Europe project is a project developed in the UK by the Language Company and the London School of Economics, together with the UK Parliamentary Group for Languages. And they basically developed policies to combat the speech of hate on social media. So they wanted to help people to better communicate to each other with proper language, without hateful language. And they chose linguists to do so to perform this job. So this should tell us a lot about the power that we have as linguists. And while the Lucite project embraced a wider variety of partners, among which the Trinity College of Dublin and the University of Melbourne, I think I have to slow down. And they developed several researching projects and policies to better use all the resources provided by a multicultural, multi-ethnic environment in Europe. And they have studied key areas in each of the big cities of the partners to develop shared policies to help people better communicate and better cooperate with each other. And again, they use linguists to do so. So my process was right. I can use my cross-linguistic knowledge to really make people coming from different backgrounds communicate to each other, cooperate with one another. And but now, at this point of my mental journey, I needed to know also how. And this is the definition given for the project that I was talking about previously. So this project starts from the consideration that we live in a period of unprecedented movement. In such a changing and volatile world, communication across culture becomes very high stakes. Such communication is indispensable for international relations. It underpins wealth creation, enables individual mobility, and makes employment grow, and so forth. This is the Language Company program called Positive Messengers to eradicate the speech of hate. Okay. Well, so at this point, I needed to know how to be a good linguistic mediator. Of course, to be a linguist, we know that we need cross-linguistic knowledge. So a proper university course is required, basically, and suggested to. But how can we be a good mediators? So I think at this point I ran out of resources. I thought I was running out of resources. So I went to Google and Googled how to be a good mediator. And I came across an article written by Stefan Goldberg, who is a veteran mediator. And I found that, in order to be a good mediator, we need to establish a rapport. And this is more important to effective mediation than employing specific mediation techniques and tactics. Okay. As a mediation student, as I am, I lingered on the word rapport. Why did he choose the word rapport instead of relation or relationship? This is an occupational hazard, I guess. So I went on the Oxford Dictionary and searched for the word rapport. And here's the definition. A rapport is a close and a harmonious relationship in which the people or groups concerned understand each other's communicate well and understand each other's feelings and ideas. Okay, so I need cross-linguistic knowledge, and I need to build this report. I continue reading the article because that was something very interesting. What is, how can I build a report? And what is actually a report? Okay? And he says, to gain Barton's trust and confidence, the report must be genuine. You can fake it, the respondent said. Before people are willing to settle, they must feel that their interests are truly understood. Only then can a mediator reframe problems and float creative solutions. What sparked my attention was it must be genuine. What does this mean? How can a report be genuine? What is a genuine report? I need to establish it, so I need to know what is it about. It happened that I met a friend of mine. She has a daughter, and she got married last summer, and they went with the father of her daughter, for sure, and they went on a honeymoon to Zanzibar, and they brought their daughter with them. And while she was telling me about their honeymoon, she told me that they did FaceTime with one of her daughter's peers. And they did this FaceTime while she was playing with a black-skinned boy, a local boy. And her peer told her, he got a different skin color, but it wasn't like something terrifying or something bad. They were just curious about it. And her daughter didn't change her attitude towards the boy when she realized that. She continued playing with him in the same way she was doing before. And so the difference that they spotted was not something important, was not something that changed their behaviors. So I think this is a genuine report. This is something that we have to strive for, that we as a person and as a linguistic mediator have to take into account. Because we have the power and we have the tool to really bridge differences gaps. But in order to do that, we need to know that they exist, but not to treat them as something that would tear people apart. Because differences are part of this world, and in a very globalized world, it's something that has to be treated in the proper way, not with prejudice. We should be like, as children, we should have spotless mind. We should be like a blank page on which people can really write what they wanted to say. We just provide the tools, but we are not the real actor of the scene. So I came to an end. I promise. I actually found my motivation. I think that I need cross-linguistic knowledge to bring out the efforts of people, and I know that I can do that only with the awareness that every voice must be heard and every person counts, and that if I have the knowledge to allow them to express their freedom of speech, to really make them important, to really give them a voice that speaks every language in this planet, I need to do that, and I need to use all the tools I have to carry out this task. So I cannot make the world a better place working as a linguistic I think I can achieve some sort of harmony that is worth living in and living